After reviewing the racial identity development theory, it provided me a better understanding that in our stages of life and development, which is from birth to becoming an adult, our interactions with family, culture, history that has been taught to us through education, community interactions, and our own personal experiences within our environments gives us the tools to develop our own racial identity. I develop I identify myself as African American, which the knowledge was given to me by my mother and her cultural background. During my pre adolescent stage, this is where I started to develop an understanding of what the color of my skin would subject me to. My surroundings of my school and community was predominantly people of color. It wasn't until I had to repeat the second grade in another school district that I truly began to experience cultural differences and racism. Moving forward, it wasn't just about racial identity, but also disability identity. The role of the race became evident and was solidified to me when I noticed the difference in treatment of African American and white children in the same classroom setting, as one is allowed to make mistakes while the other had to prove themselves smart and hardworking and honest. I experienced institutionalized racism when I was separated from my sister and my peers. I went from a school predominantly black to a school predominantly white and over 10 miles away from home, just to be placed into a specialty class for children with learning disabilities. The only staff of color that was there was the lunch lady. I was treated unfairly and was told by the social worker who created my individual education plan that I would not make it past the fifth grade. I was in adolescent stage at that time and I had 3 strikes against me already. I was labeled as black with a disability, and I was singled out within my community and peers. On one side of the spectrum, I was labeled as stupid and did not know any better and needed to be taught differently. I was bullied and I was teased by other children of non-color. On the other side of the spectrum, I was also bullied within my community because I talked different, acted different, and this also created a huge separation between me and my sister because we were in the same household but learned differently with education and was totally opposite, like night and day. My mother also couldn't resist asking me why I could not be like my sister, educational wise. The events that occurred in this developmental stage taught me that it wasn't just about racism, but also about disability discrimination. I had to deal with learning how to become accepted to fit in on both sides of the fence. To be a child my mother wanted me to be, which in turn created the depression, low self-esteem, the ugly duckling effect, and not knowing who I was during the developmental stage. Based on my personal experiences, one action that I would take is to utilize the disability critical racial theory to challenge the Department of Education policies and procedures, holding schools that are placed in the poorest communities accountable for their actions on how special needs children are treated. To look at the special needs program and to find alternative methods on how to effectively work with special needs children of color without ignoring or denying the racial issues, segregation, in their current environment, but to promote self acceptance, remove the stigma and labels, and encourage building peer relationships with students who do not have disabilities. This will allow the children who have special needs to advance in academic and to be provided with a choice and a voice. Thank you.